So it's hard to say new things after all I've heard this afternoon. Um, you in the room and now 20 people. I can't see exactly. Online, yeah, 20 people. So it's been a very instructive and interesting afternoon. I think it's obvious that we need to start with congratulations for this excellent work that has been carried out over these years. I think all work packages have truly done actions and activities and got results that are of fundamental importance and are a basis for the future. All this work has set, in my opinion, very solid ground for the things to come. The show is not over, not at all. We have seen that, from Andy's presentation, a lot of progress has been done in setting up some guidelines and some rationalization of all the data issues, but we are not there yet. We have seen from the work packages on industry that new models are being invented. They are solidly grounded on our expertise, but there's still a lot to do. We have seen it with Next Up and with this new access mode. All these things are linked to each other, and indeed, I think one key element that brings them all together is a word that comes more and more in my mind, that is complexity. All these issues are strongly interlinked. I think there has been an evolution in science in general, but also in synchronous radiation science, that we went from a much more technique-driven science in which we were really learning and optimizing, and we are still doing it to some extent. If I think about ID14 or ID16 beamlines and so on, where we are still learning about new techniques, but it's clear that today we are much more problem-driven science, and problem can be at very different levels. And then I think that this is really one of the big challenges for the coming years. Being able to put all these tools together for optimizing scientific outcome on specific problems. And this is going to be, I think, a characteristic of ESRF, other synchronous radiation facility, but I think of science in general. We are starting this discussion on FP10, and we see that knowledge generation will have to be linked more and more to exploitation of this knowledge generation by linking it to innovation, to industry, to creation of jobs, to ensuring that the quality of life that we have in Europe can be maintained. And this can only be done if indeed we can dwell on what we do extremely well, I would say, as compared to many other parts of the world, is developing new knowledge in a democratic environment. So this is our strength. So we really need to get all these tools together that are, we have heard it, in many occasions, linked to the word data generation, data exploitation, data preservation, etc. And we can't do everything. And what you have done is already exceptional. But I think the big game is really in what we have seen from Joanna's talk, that we need to optimize all this know-how and all these resources in an efficient way in order to produce knowledge and at all levels, fundamental, applied, etc., etc. So, you know, the question to which also Tobias was addressing, for me, this new access mode probably are going to prevail, will have to prevail. The advantages of organizing communities along a specific theme are immense. You can really optimize the tools, for example, in the data production, evaluation, use. And again, I take the liberty to remember that you're just doing a little part, okay? Because if you want to then link it to specific use, for example, as it was mentioned, of artificial intelligence tool. What does it mean, artificial intelligence tool? Well, it means that I have to put together a lot of data, and I have to take an holistic approach and develop tools that are specific to those data. And this is not something that we are going to do. We are going to contribute in doing it. Our user will have to do it. Our users will have to link to the appropriate high powerful computing structures and putting databases together, et cetera, et cetera. But we are going to contributing how? By creating these databases in a way that respect the FAIR principles, that are connected with the outside, which I hope is going to be done together with the other synchrotrons in Europe, at least if not in the world. And then they are connected with many other databases. This is how the specific needs of a problem-driven community are going to be solved, I think, in the coming years. So in that sense, I think that the Streamline has been the first well-organized attempt to give, if not an answer, at least to show a way to address all a series of issues that are extremely complex and need to be addressed if we want to really explore the possibilities that our analysis capacity here at ESRF allows us. In my opinion, what has started here needs to continue, and needs to continue probably with even a multiplicator factor in terms of resources, which is, I would say, a factor 10. And we know that this is difficult, but we have to maintain this momentum. We need to continue this endeavor. And how to do that? Well, I think there are perhaps two issues. I think scientists really needs to, again, give their views and contribute in trying to shape the choices. For example, you know, what are the specific problems that we want to address? We have identified a few of them, you know, the human organ atlas, the battery, the various bugs that were described, shock and cultural heritage. But there are many, many other areas where this can be done, okay? And I think the scientists should really help in that respect. And perhaps organize, we are doing this with the users meeting, you know, with the different micro symposia, etc. But perhaps this time is coming that, you know, we at ESRF need to create events which are really community driven, saying bring a specific community which is working on a specific project and say, how can we work better together? How can we serve you better? How can you exploit in a more efficient way the facility? And I agree, again, I forgot, but I think is a comment which is fundamental. In all this complexity, we need to also provide the rapid access. So this new access mode for me are really fundamental. LIPS is an opportunity. I think that we, again, ESRF is in a very, very strong positions as compared to many other facilities in Europe. And the data policy that we have launched in 2015 has put us, I think, even ahead of many discussions at the level of the European Commission, because the concept of a data policy, simple, straightforward, transparent, like the one that we have here in the ELL, it's really a piece of art, which we should not forget is the backbone of all that we are talking. Because if we wouldn't have that data policy, everything would be up in the sky, in the air. So nevertheless, we cannot go along by ourselves. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, first of all, because we do not have the resource of doing it, and secondly, because these choices are very important to be shared, to be the same for everybody, because we don't want to go into the usual trap that then everybody makes his own little baby, right? We need to avoid that. And again, I think that the scientists have a huge game to play there. Scientists should really become more than ever the link between the community needs, the problems of the community, and the facility needs. Because we need very clear directive in order to use our resources in the best possible way. So, as every big success, a big success is just the beginning of a new story, of a new period, and that's, I think, is the most exciting part of a success. That when you do something well, there are much more things to do afterwards, and we have seen it at ESRF in many occasions. Every time we do something well, after that there is a lot more to do. And of course, very often the resources stay the same. So this is not so easy to accomplish, and that's where our capacity should be in making the right choices. And with that, again, my congratulations and thanks to all the people that has worked on Streamline, from those that invented, that were mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, to those that really drive it through, the work package leaders, but even more, all the people that did the hard work behind, and has given to the ESRF all a series of new tools that are very, very powerful, and I hope that we will be in a position to maintain them and to make them even more powerful. So thank you, and let's continue the good work. Thank you.